Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander viewers are advised that the following program may contain images and voices of people who have died.
In the dry red centre of Australia lies an enormous rock. Like a giant, it rises from the sands of the flat surrounding desert. A magnificent sight, this is Uluru. Uluru is the largest single rock or monolith in the world. Its size is amazing. Uluru is 2.5 kilometres long and 1.5 kilometres wide. From the ground, it appears long and narrow, but from the air, we can see that the rock is actually more triangular. Rising 348 metres above the surrounding desert, Uluru is one of Australia's most spectacular landmarks. Uluru is also a place of great importance for some of this country's Aboriginal people. It's where spirits live and laws are passed on. The rock lies about 300 kilometres southwest of the Northern Territory town of Alice Springs. The main access to it is via the Lassiter Highway south of the town. A 2-hour drive west along the highway and the rock looms into view. So enormous and so solid, it's easy to imagine that Uluru has always been a part of this landscape. But it hasn't been here forever. The rock is actually the result of millions of years of change. It began as a tiny part of a large flat mass of rock which was deposited layer upon layer on the Earth's crust in Central Australia. At times, the centre was covered by a shallow sea and the layers were buried below mud and sand. Then, a period of massive movement below the Earth's surface caused the layers to rotate into an almost vertical position. The wind and the rain lashed the exposed rock, slowly wearing it down or eroding it. But one section of rock was more resistant and remained standing. Uluru was formed. Called an Inselberg, it's actually the tip of the larger rock mass, much of which still extends many kilometres below ground. The weather continues to erode Uluru, shaping the rock and creating its features. This erosion is a slow process. Rain in this dry heart of Australia is rare and unpredictable. But when it does come, it plays an important part in eroding the rock. In winter, southeasterly winds bring the occasional shower. But in summer, storms sweep down from the north the remains of tropical cyclones. After a storm, water streams down the sides of the rock, creating watercourses. Over time, the rain has worn grooves between the layers of rock which make up Uluru. This has resulted in thousands of ribs or ridges on the surface of the rock. Some are just beginning, but in other places, the water's worn away softer sections of rock and the grooves have become deep valleys. Some of these valleys lead to rock pools at the base of Uluru, like Mutijulu, near the southwest corner of the rock. It holds water most of the year. Water erosion is also responsible for the potholes, which can be seen all over the rock. It may be that these areas are made up of slightly different particles of rock, which are less resistant to erosion. One of the most noticeable effects of weather on the rock is flaking. When wet, the surface of the rock expands, and as it dries, it shrinks, causing pieces to pull away in large flakes. This weathering effect is more severe at the base of the rock, where water collects after heavy rain. As the flakes fall away, the rock wall becomes steeper, in some places curving inwards. It's likely that this is how Malagu Wiltshire, or Wave Cave, was formed. Here we can see some parts of the rock which have resisted erosion jutting out from the roof. Uluru is made up of a type of rock called arkose, which contains traces of iron. When rainwater mixes with the iron, a chemical reaction causes rusting and the arkose turns red. Another feature of Uluru are the splits or joints across its surface. It's uncertain how they were formed, but it's possible they are weaker sections of rock which have expanded in the heat and split. Eventually, the weight of the rock pushing down above the split can result in large sections falling. Investigating the formation of Uluru and its markings is a fascinating science. But there's another way of looking at the creation of the rock and its features. This different view belongs to the Angangu Aboriginal people. They believe that Uluru and its features were made during the Jakorpa, or creation period. This was the time when groups of godlike beings crossed the land and left their marks in the form of things like rivers, caves and rocks. Each of Uluru's features has its own creation story. One of the major stories is about Kunia, the python woman who can be seen as a wavy horizontal band of rock on Uluru's southern face. Further along the rock face are two splits. These are the marks Kunia left when she fought Liru, a poisonous snake warrior who had killed her nephew. The small split is the first blow from Kunia which wounded Liru. The large one is the second strike she delivered, which proved to be fatal. These are the marks left by Liru's spears. A cave on the southeastern face of the rock belongs to the story of the willy wagtail woman Jindir Jindirpa. Hearing the sounds of ceremonies in the distance, she felt happy and laughed to herself. The cave is her smile. These creation stories not only explain the rock's features, they also form part of Aboriginal lore. They are lessons telling the Anangu how to care for each other and for the land. For thousands of years, groups camped at the base of the rock and passed the stories and their messages on through storytelling, art and ceremony. But from the 1930s, contact with white people changed their lives forever. Many were forced to live on reserves, areas specially set aside for Aboriginal people. And Aboriginal rights to the rock were not acknowledged. The Anangu fought, using the white legal system to prove their law. Eventually, they were successful. On October 26, 1985, Australia's then Governor-General, Sir Ninian Stevens, gave Aboriginal people ownership of the rock. The Anangu people lent Uluru back to the federal government so that all Australians and people from all over the world could continue to enjoy it. Every year, hundreds of thousands come to see the rock. Uluru is one of Australia's most popular tourist destinations. Now, the Anangu work as rangers, helping tourists understand the area.
This one spear, and this one womera, mirror, we call it mirror.
The Anangu also help to run Uluru as a national park, impressing upon visitors the importance of the area. They discourage people from climbing the rock as a mark of respect and as a way of protecting it from further damage. Looking after this place will mean that thousands more will be able to experience some of the magic of Uluru.